Welcome back, everybody. This is the third game we're spectating here in Week 5 of the European Challenger Cup. I am Merle. Joining me today is Souza. Souza, we've seen two games today. How do you think this one is going to go?
Honestly, Xzist had a really great murder ball strategy. We saw him play that last game. They were fairly even throughout most of it here. The big thing I want to wonder is somebody going to just disrupt that by picking something away from them, or do they have like a strategy in mind? Maybe force them into some kind of uncomfortable area, or will we see both sides kind of try to do this like big wrecking ball clash and just slam into each other?
Well, looking at the picks and bans here, it appears that Raijan's been banned out, so we're not going to see for the third game in a row that Raijan Athena strategy that's been
Probably a
working
good
so
thing.
well in those mid-game fights.
Probably a good thing. Rajan Athena has been absolutely dominating its way through these early mid game fights, like you said. But there's a couple of other big mid laners that can carry on through that way. And notably, an Isis could do it. We could potentially see a Vulcan if you want to do something a little bit weirder. Giannis, of course, also just works really well with other big setups. So I kind of expect that to be the pickup here. But Cabrakan, first lock in here for Doom, and now Xzist, looking to respond with a Guan Yu.
Yep. Once again, going for those consistent solo laners here. However, given that Guan Yu definitely has the potential to be a support, I wouldn't be surprised if Dirgius went and ran that. Also picking up a Yu once again, one of the more consistent hunters, especially going into the late game phases. You've seen relative success here. Unfortunately, got shut out last game, but the game before that definitely paying off in spades. Going up against a Xbalanque, definitely one of the more uncommon picks with the Golden Bow meta going on. Definitely benefits more from Transcendence in the bonus mana. Not necessarily unheard of. We've seen him played before.
He still hurts quite a bit, which is something a lot of people tend to forget here. His branching bolus leads to a ton of damage, and the extra range he gets whenever he ulties, as well as the massive disruption tool, could actually work wonders, forcing a team to be very, very heavy on the communication here. But with a veteran like Durgis, I don't think Xzist are going to end up falling into a miscommunication trap that might come through from Xbalanque. So, all in all, I think the big strength they're looking for here is the fact that he hits insanely hard as branching bolus.
Yeah, they're definitely looking for that late game fight. Understanding Huyi, not really going to be looking to go for crits in response to that with Xbalanque, despite the fact that with the bonus damage from Bolas, Deathbring on him deals massive amounts of damage. But still, just understanding, having the presence of mind, knowing very well that Bolas is going to play a huge factor into those late game team fights, considering you can't really body block that damage spread.
And if you do try to body block it, you're going to end up taking a massive chunk yourself and tossing a few more bolas out behind you as well. So, all things considered, it's a very dangerous proposition here. So, you have to have some way of answering that. Bans coming through, Odin and Fenrir taken away. So, two big possible responses off the table for Xzist. But Xzist looking to take away some heavy AoE damage dealers, getting their hands on Isis, one of the other big mid lane powerhouses for a murder ball possible with Athena, and taking away both a Giannis and a Scylla.
Yep. Just knocking out as much of that like high burst objective control, in addition to that team combo potential. Sikim's ability to hit multiple people, portals as well, just denying that dropship, giving Isis as much breathing room as she can, but gonna be looks like she's gonna be going up against a Vulcan. The knock up not really gonna do much, considering that Wing Gust is immune to the knock up and knockbacks. However, still going to take the poke damage, so definitely
I
going to
think
be a
the
relatively even fight, I think.
I think the big thing they want from that Odin is the sheer amount of damage potential he has. Not really for the mid lane. He can still do a lot to Isis, but losing out on that knockup is going to make it a bit more difficult for him to deliver said combo. But in these skirmishes or in the jungle, especially combos as an Athena, which is what they're going for here, he's going to shred through health bars. An Earthbreaker from far, far away will absolutely dominate and decimate any kind of big fight that breaks out. And now Doom has a really good answer for Xzist penchant for murder ball strategies. If you group up against this team comp, they will shut you down and shred you.
Yep, picking up a Ymir and a Thor going for the lovely Norse duo pickup there. Ymir, not something we see super often now, seems to be outclassed by those more hyper aggressive supports such as Cabrakan, Kumbhakarna, Sobek, Athena. Even Geb and Kepri still see a little bit more play than he does. Really one of the more bottom tier picks in addition to Sylvanas. So curious to see where he's going to go. Could also work in the solo lane. I wouldn't be surprised if they pulled the switcheroo there, especially knowing Dirge's penchant for playing.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily meta picks, but
Well,
definitely thinks he's super comfortable.
especially considering the fact that Ymir has that damage, like that flat damage reduction now, thanks to his passive, come out of the Mark of the Vanguard. I honestly kind of am expecting to come out the solo lane here. He can deal decently with the Cabrakan, who's like a likely solo laner for Doom as well, and I'd honestly rather
Yeah,
see that matchup than a Guan Yu into Cabrakan.
Yeah, Guan Yu and Cabrakan is just going to be the eventual story of Taolu assault shutdowns.
Mm-hmm.
But with the Frost Breath from Ymir, you're at least able to interrupt the tremors, which means that you're going to be costing Cabrakan, you're going to be costing Yosu a lot of mana and a lot of HP as a result.
Mm-hmm. But instead, they're just opting for the big sustain tank in the solo lane. So all things considered, they're going to get their sustain out in these team fights, and they're going to get that tanky frontliner from the solo lane. So all in all, I definitely think it will be a Cabrakan versus Mir matchup, but we'll find out soon enough. Merle, any final thoughts or move on to the game?
I'm afraid of whoever tries to fight the Nemesis come late game, because once she has her items on, I don't want to fight into that. I've played Nemesis enough, and I've played against Nemesis enough to know that,
I think
especially
it's
as
a
a
fear we all
hunter,
have.
you do not want to fight into that shield because you'll die like
I think
nine times out of 10.
it's a fear we've all experienced, except for on the giving end. But we'll find out soon enough as the game will be ready to go shortly. We'll be right back with Week 5 of the European Challengers Cup, brought to you by Smite Game, hi-rez Studios, and Tier Monster. We will be right back.
And we're back here, spectating Doom versus Xzist. This is round 2 out of the 3 rounds in this round robin stage that we're spectating. Here we've got some lovely teams, some lovely strategies, and I'm excited to see how it plays out. Souza, what do you think?
I think this should be an interesting one here. There's a lot of sustained potential on the side for Xzist to walk along through this one, but Doom, you brought it up kind of earlier on. Nemesis is a very, very scary god to deal with individually. What kind of strategies do you think we're going to see Xzist try to pull out to deal with her potentially? As there's a decent amount of tank lineup on Xzist.
Yeah, one of the big things is that regardless of whatever level her ultimate is, it's always got that 50% protection drop. So basically, being able to focus out whoever she's ulted is really going to be the name of the game here.
And what kind of ways do you think they're really like pop for that? Or who are they gonna lock people out of these fights here? And what kind of target would you go for with that ultimate, really?
Honestly, what I would expect to go for first is Sippy. Offers probably the most reliable amount of CC in the game as that Guardian pickup on the Ymir. So being able to burst them down, even force out a premature ultimate, deny a lot of damage and control for the team. Even the wall itself is a huge amount of disruption. So being able to prevent that and mitigate that is definitely going to be the name of the game here for Doom.
Name of the game, and well, as long as you understand the name, hopefully you can pull out some kind of strategy here. As now, Ashire and his fellow mid laner Stefan should be able to secure these camps fairly easily here. Going to be a 1-1 split on the camps here. Doom falling a tiny bit behind in the farm game early on, but not going to mean too much in the grand scheme of things, all things considered. We bring this up every game as well, Marlon. It's time for that again. Where's going to be the big breaking point for this game?
I feel like the big breaking point is going to be whoever loses solo lane first.
All right.
Dropping that solo lane tower is going to mean a lot in terms of CC availability for either team. So it'll definitely be interesting to see how that pans out.
So is this going to be one of the situations where you'd argue put a bit more pressure towards the solo lane in this game?
I would definitely say so, yes.
All right.
Both of them, Ymir especially, actually, does have really good control when it comes to Gold Fury. Meanwhile, Beast Game are bursting through Mr. Stefan for first blood.
Yeah, a quick rotation and a quick catch there. Mr. Stefan wasn't long for the world at all there, and that's one of the downsides of Vulcan. You get caught, you die horribly, and we just saw it right there.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much you can do against a Purple Pot Isis. Definitely a huge amount of power coming out there. So, making good on the Purple Pot pickup. Bit of a more risky strategy, but going up against one of the
how commonplace it is,
like
though. How commonplace a Purple Pot strategy tends to be. I mean, it's still got that risk of if it doesn't pan out or if you die, you lose out on the gold. But it's one of those things that like a risk the other team is likely to take as well. Is there any real response to it if you don't take the risk?
The best response is just look for the early pick, but once again, doesn't look like it'll be able to find it. Nash taking a huge amount of poke. They're just going to be able to pick up that kill. It looks like a big Howling Assault. So, really what it comes down to, in terms of shutting down the purple bot, I mean, the one big response we saw was Panthera was able to do it, but they were using Now Kwong, just getting off really good pickups and being able to snowball off his presence there with adapting during DreamHack. But outside of that, really, your best bet is just to try farm safely and wait it out. Try not to guarantee any kind of gold advantage and just keep even with them, because when that pot wears out, you're going to have 450 gold that you've invested in items rather than in the single consumable.
And now, Mr. Stefan, I don't believe he started with the purple bot, so he's not going to lose as much there, luckily. And I think he should be able to hold out decently well here. Beast Gamer is waiting around the corner here, but red buff should be able to speed buff should be able to be secured here. Thor up in the air. Looks like Xzist want to fight hard here. Nasher is not going to be the one targeted here. It's going to be Mr. Stefan. They know he's got nowhere to run. Earthbreaker going to come on down and deal quite a bit of damage to Zoni. The only one getting hit there. Sibby charging up a massive mirror ultimate. Stunned inside of it is Urk, and Urk trapped by the wall and slaughtered here. Durgis has made his way over, and now Nashire gonna get ripped to shreds here. It's Xzist running rampant all over Doom right now, and that'll be the story, it seems.
Yep. Beautiful play coming out from Mr. Stefan, being able to dodge the Spirit Ball stun using the backfire, but unfortunately getting caught out by the stun, forced to ultimate directly on himself, so he's not really getting a lot of damage out on that, just really the base. Was able to deal a significant amount of damage to Zoni, but considering they were able to clean up the speed buff there and steal it away, he was able to heal it up thanks to Pumbaa's passive. So not really able to find anything as a result, and a fantastic 4-0 at 4 minutes into the game in favor of Xzist.
In a very, very happy to be in right now. Doom were able to move in and respond with a bit of a mid-camp pressure right there, and now they're going to group up and respond to some ways of their own. Some very quick rotations from Xzist have set things up quite nicely for them here, and especially with our purple pot ISS, they're in a great position to kind of press their advantage even harder. The kills sitting on 4 very key members here, 3 especially the solo laner here, and there's a lot they can do with it. Where you want to see them start making these moves, though, is the question, Merle.
Honestly, what I'd expect to see is a little bit more pressure in the mid lane here. Just shutting out Mr. Stefan, preventing him from getting off those high damage ultimates at the long range is definitely going to be a big factor, especially when it comes time to pressure around Gold Fury, because that does have the potential for stealing if they aren't very well aware of it. Can even out damage the Sunbreaker, which is a huge factor when it comes to objective secure.
The big question is, can they outdamage a Sunbreaker and a Circle Protection from Beast Gamer as well? As there's a lot of pure objective secure for Xzist right now.
Yep. If we take a look at Captain Base, sitting relatively happy at the moment. Doesn't have a kill, but does have a small gold advantage, about 200 here, that he's just keeping tabs on in terms of keeping pace with ethics. So definitely possible that we'll see a kill for him relatively shortly, especially considering Durgis' presence is very strong in this lane.
And really, there's no getting away from that. Now, Durgis has made a lot of good moves around the map so far, and Doom have to be thinking about that constantly. And it looks like they actually have thought quite nicely of it. There's a lot of wards around the map. Basic wards, not sentry, but still good vision nonetheless. They know Durgis is going to rotate. They know where he'll come from. But this time, they're about to get crushed by a Thor as well. Here we're going to go. Dizoni jumping on in. Epic's taken quite low. Durgis tanking up a little bit of the tower there in case they want to dive, but no dive coming through. Message has been sent, and Doom is rallying on the way here. Nashire looking to make the first move here, but blocked out by a wall. Earthbreaker ready to shatter some bases, but everybody dodging away from it there. Captain Base should be able to dodge it out, and that he does. Durgis still has the dash available. Sunbreaker as well to keep the zone going, and Xzist going to be fine and dandy. Now the rest of their squad rotating in. Sibby finds a nice stun of Nashire right there, and he'll be taken incredibly low, but double dashes away to safety. And now Xzist, as a 5-man squad, has the opportunity to move towards the Gold Fury and force Doom's hand if they want to, and that's exactly what they're going to do here.
Yep, they do have Sibby's ult for the potential of secure, but it doesn't really like Urk or really anybody else on the rest of the team to do it. Xzist able to secure it here. Now on the defensive, is only going to fall to the damage from that turret. Beast Gamer here using Wing Gust to escape. Sibby taking a lot of poke will probably follow as a result, but able to kill Urk in the process. So double kill going to Mr. Stefan, but unfortunately, Eric falling to Sibi as well. So if you take a look at the graphs here, still about 3k in favor, both experience and gold-wise for Xzist, but not a runaway just yet.
Not too much of a shift from that. It is trending a little bit back down to where it was, but Xzist still hold the edge after that Gold Fury fight. Managed to get away 1 kill as well, and despite just losing 2 people there. So responded quite nicely here. Doom made a really good rally there, but unfortunately lost Urk, so it kind of didn't pay off as much as they wanted to. But still, a good response from Doom there, I'd argue.
Yeah, really unfortunate. Yosu not really getting a good ultimate off. So able to capture Sibi, but not really anybody else in that, as they were all able to just walk away. So I feel like if he was able to get a better ultimate off, even capture just one extra person probably would have gone into Doom's favor. But ultimate being popped by FX in an attempt to escape, gonna get that extra mobility and able to walk out of the Sunbreaker, sitting at 45 HP. By the skin of his teeth, he survives.
And that's more than happy enough here. Is now Urk gonna get aggressed on by Dur just a bit. Looks like the rest of Xzist starting to make their moves around the map here, and they're just keeping the pressure up on Doom quite constantly now. We're gonna see Nashar put up a lot of burst damage, but there's enough sustain to just keep Xzist going. It's the circle protection here. A dunk from Dizoni will spell disaster for Nashar right there, and Urk going to be the next to fall as well. Xzist just constantly keeping it up to 11 right here, and there's nothing Doom really seems to be able to do to respond right here.
I think one of the biggest things is they just have to keep in mind of where Beast Gamer is every single time. He got a double Spirit Ball stun off and was able to heal up his team and just deal a significant amount of poke damage here. Mr. Spawn gonna spot it out, use the beads, backfire to escape, but as a result he's gonna be losing his tier 1 tower. Not much about that. Very unfortunate here. So Beast Gamer really is setting the pace of this game to his standards, sitting 1-0-6. He's been a part of every single kill so far in this game now, outside of the one that just happened in the single.
Yeah, outside of that one, and now the fight breaking out in full in mid lane. Beast Gamer getting poked out quite hard, but Dur just giving enough sustain to keep him going. Gonna get that full damage out before he falls, as FX does survive and pick up the kill, but will fall at the end of the day. Urk now incredibly low as Captain Base putting out quite a few shots into him. Turret under a lot of danger right now as the solo lane being pushed in by Dizoni as well. And other than that, they can just keep pushing forward now as Xzist. Back off, get a tower on both sides of the map here, and the only tier 1 left standing will be in the dual lane.
Yeah, incredible plays coming out here. And actually, if we look at the scoreboard, it doesn't appear as though FX got the kill credit for that. He was only stuck with an assist, which is really unfortunate for a Xbalanque player, sitting 0, 1, and 3. Getting those kills definitely plays a big part into the well-being of the character, considering he gets up to bonus 30 power from it.
And being able to just keep him out from these kills is a really, really nice thing for Xzist here. Shuts out a lot of his power here, and the big thing for Xbalanque, like I said, he hits hard. If you can't get that power, you're going to be a bit lacking and forced to choose a bit differently in your building there. It does have that golden bow here. It's now Dur just deep in this fight, actually, 1 versus 2. He knows he's got backup on the way, especially with Dizoni coming in, but Mr. Stefan has spotted the incoming and will through the bomb, forcing Dizoni to back away a bit there. So Doom able to worm out of a bad situation here.
Meanwhile, Sibi rotating all the way over to the dual lane, trying to chase down FX. A good beads coming up, preventing the freeze. In addition to Defender of Olympus being popped up by Eric. Definitely a satisfying trade for the team of Xzist here. Knowing that Defender of Olympus down definitely be a big factor as they move to progress onto Mr. Stefan, who's going to fall relatively shortly, surviving, if only a moment. Nashar also taking a lot of damage. Wingus getting cancelled, that damage refund from Retribution. So, a lot of good rotations and good presence of mind coming out from Xzist. Really not much that Doom can do. They lost pretty much control of it.
Yeah, especially with Thor up in the air already. Yeah, especially Dizoni crashing down, keeping things going here. Xzist, constant rotations, constant pressure. Doom don't really seem to have the answer for it, and this time it's just pressure all over the place with Thor and Dur just moving in for the kills here, putting it out wherever they want, and Doom just seem to have to be aware that it's going to be a massive bit of danger that pops out anywhere on the map at any time, it seems.
Yep, definitely something to be concerned with. Durgis here refunding mana with the meditation, just gonna use that to dash away. Cold Fury being warded, and just keeping the pressure on Sibi, pressuring, not able to steal away the red buff, but definitely just reminding them who really owns the jungle here.
It's about sending a message at this point, and right now, Xzist just want to make sure that Doom knows there's no real way forward, no real way out. If you keep the mental game going strong, you're in a very, very good position to hold on things. Now, Xzist starting to put a little pressure moving around here. Where can they really go from here, Merle? They've got a pretty large goalie for 12 minutes in, about 5,000 already. 3 to 11 is the kill count. XP sitting about 7,000 as well. What kind of advantages can they start to press here to start ending the game?
Uh, Xzist here should really be looking to go for the Gold Fury at this point. Just continue to exacerbate that gold lead, get those item leads. I mean, if we compare mid laners, Isis here, as Yosu going to get caught with that Spirit Ball in addition to the stun. Earthbreaker coming out, dealing a fair bit of damage to Dirtius, but nobody else really taking a lot of pokes. Sippy going to drop her to half HP, as well as the heal coming out. Zoni going to finish off Yosu as a result. So.
And now just looking to tear them around as Xzist. Just going to start to keep healing up and look towards the Gold Fury potentially as well. Most of the team just kind of chasing around the map, forcing Doom to scatter and run for dear life there as Xzist now have completely scattered Doom to the 4 winds, and this should be a guaranteed Gold Fury. Nothing Doom can really do to defend against this right now.
Yep, Xzist able to get out Yosu, as well as deal a significant amount of damage to both Stefan and Urk, forcing them out with these Sunbreakers. So not really anything that they could do in response other than just walk away. And then you had, through that entire Gold Fury secure, Zoni just walking around throughout their jungle. Now, once again, dealing more damage to Epic. So, good presence of mind from Dazoni, just zoning out as much as possible. Give his team the breathing room it needs to secure their lead, as they now sit 6,600 gold in the lead at only 13 minutes into the game.
And it's about to get a lot worse as Ice is entering a very stable point, being incredibly far ahead and able to push on through to like that major power stance. And unfortunately, Mr. Stefan just getting completely bullied around, it seems, in these fights. You're being fairly immobile, able to maybe deliver some of his damage some of the time, but never enough of it and never consistently enough. And that's one of the downsides of Vulcan, unfortunately. I'm really glad to see Xzist doing a good job of punching that here, but I want to see Doom try to rally here. And the question is, Merle, where can Doom honestly start to rally here, being about 7,000 gold down and climbing?
Gold Fury was one of the big points of contention that I would have liked to see them try, but unfortunately that last team fight was really one of the big nails in the coffin for them as this game continues to go on. FX here going to be caught out of position, forced to use his ultimate, but won't really be able to find any avenue of escape. Going to get finished off by the Spirit Ball here as Urk and Mr. Stefan looking to rotate in, but understanding that that tower is a goner. Now no tier 1s remaining on the side of Doom. So basically just being able to hold and prevent against the siege is their best bet here, as a wonderful taunt coming out in addition to an ultimate. Zoni able to escape, however, going up into his ultimate.
Yeah, it was a wonderful play, but it's too little too late here. As now the rest of Xzist rallying around it. Zoni has a Sanctuary for safety here. Spirit Ball not going to land on Nashire, as the original target Yosu had fallen to Beast Gamer. Their captain base will pick up Nashire right there at Nashire, and I think this is a guaranteed tower. Not a whole lot Doom can do against it, trying to push back and rally, but this could be the end of a very dangerous losing road for them here. 3 to 16 is the count, and Xzist have full control over Doom's jungle right now.
Yeah, one of the big things there is that they were basically playing a 4v4 match. Sibi off on his own, trying to tear down this tier 2 tower in the solo lane, exacerbate his lead even further, collecting his solo lane Ymir base muscles as much as possible here to fall just very shortly. So there's really not much that they can do. Fire Giant Steel would be their best bet, unless they go through with the surrender option, which definitely is a direct hit to their morale.
Mm-hmm. And it's a question of, do they want to keep going, as I've still got a couple of games to play today. I think they're going to try to just hold strong here, as Doom is still rallying. They've got that chance at the Miracle Play set around the Fire Giant, but they're getting towards the territory. It's going to be really difficult, if not impossible, for them to come back. We've seen stranger comebacks, but I don't think today is going to be one of those days from the way this game's just been building out of control. 12,000 at 16 minutes.
Yeah, 12,000 gold lead. Zoni unfortunately missing the ultimate here, just swiveling around, looking, trying to pretend that that didn't happen, adding a little bit of comedy to this very serious. I don't really want to say stomp, but it's looking like a stomp.
it was really good rotation coming out from Xzist early on in the game here. They had the pressure around the lanes, and Durgis was just on a constant move around the map, it seemed. Out of nowhere, 3 members would show up in mid lane, 3 would show up in the solo lane. It's now they want to fight again here, dashing down the mid lane here. Cabrakan starts stunning out too, as we will see Beast Gamer making his way forward. Circle protection going to get a nice chunk of damage down on Mr. Stefan in the back line, as he was completely isolated there. Nashire now doing his best to duel with Sibby here. The massive Ymir taking quite a bit of pressure here. Freeze, knockdown, lockdown, but Nashire has a way out of that one right into the Spirit Gust, it seems, as he'll be taken down by Beast Gamer's Wing Gust to finish him off here. And now Xzist, they're just going to start pressuring the Phoenix here. This tier 3 tower, the Phoenix, it should fall in seconds flat, as there's 1, 2 left standing around the map, and I think they can get them all here if they just, unless they just want to go straight for the Fire Giant.
I think they'd be looking straight for the Fire Giant here. They've got a clear advantage in terms of items. You know, sitting at this point 15,000 gold in the lead. There's not really much that Doom can do here. FX, unfortunately, off trying to solo farm, trying to reclaim anything that he could, and unfortunately acted more as a death sentence to his team as a result. He was unable to be in that fight. So.
Unfortunately, they're just kind of doomed to look for scraps right now. Maybe there'll be a miracle here, but Urk going to be zoned out quite nicely by a pair of walls right there. No real way forward. Xzist will secure the Fire Giant, and now I think this could be the final nail in the coffin here as Xzist back off, get their final items, and look to put the final push in. Doom gonna rally, but I don't know if they're gonna rally hard enough or if they even have the potential they needed. We saw a beautiful play come out earlier during the tier 2 tower fight for Doom, a massive Earthbreaker hitting 3 targets, but it's all just too little too late at this point, it seems.
Yeah, there's a fair amount of pen coming out from Mr. Stefan. He went for the cheap pen options, opting for the boots as well as a Dynasty Plate helmet, giving a little bit of bonus physical protection. But now, FX here are going to be caught out as a result, going to successfully dodge the Thor ultimate, beats the freeze, but going to get caught with that wall, and as a result, is just seconds away from death here. So.
Xzist still had the trump card, despite being able to beat out most of their CC. Was fairly impressive dodging away from quite a bit of that, but at the end of the day, the wall can't be progressed past, and that'll be Doom losing their 80 carry here. Gold Fury likely going to be taken by Xzist to get a little bit of extra gold in their pocket and prevent Doom from getting any kind of extra chance at moving forward in this game. And that's the right call for sure here, as now they've got open Phoenixes, plenty of opportunities, and maybe Doom might have taken a bait here, but Doom just playing safe and grabbing as many scraps as they can right now.
Yeah, FX definitely looking to get, you know, what lead he can, and I say lead very tentatively because, of course, it's just trying to reclaim as much items as he can, trying to match Capitan base with that build, each in size followed by the Titan's Bane, but unfortunately 4 levels down, 3k or so experience, there's really not much that he can do in the way of really
even if everything goes perfectly for Doom here, I don't know if it'll be enough here. They get a great burst come off on the Captain base, but he's able to simply dash out of that one. Circle protection detonates, taking Yosu incredibly low despite being one of the tankier members, and this should be his death sentence right there. Dazoni will finish him off here. Epic's forced away by Dirge in the backside. This one's Nashire will dive for Captain base, does have a Sanctuary to keep himself safe. Sibby gets incredibly low during Ultimate engagement here, as now Dirge will start pumping out the healing, get the push going even harder here, and they should secure the Phoenix, sure thing right here. Another Phoenix bites the dust, as now Xzist looking to put this final game down here. 18,000 gold up. Doom struggling for whatever they can, but unfortunately, despite getting a great pick there almost, despite getting everything, it's just not enough at this point with how much of a lead Xzist has.
Yeah, really not anything that they can do. Able to focus out and deal a lot of damage to Capitan base, but he's just able to dive bomb out, heal it up. Able to use both Xzist and Guan to his advantage. Slow coming out there from Sibby, able to guarantee the kill onto Athena. So really, we're entering the final stage of the game here. Yosu unfortunately caught out as well, not really having the tankiness of the items really to back him up in comparison to Sibby or the rest of Xzist. So
yeah, not a whole lot can really happen here.
Going to be able to focus out FX, but
that's a good game right here.
Just a matter of until Titan falls at this point.
Yeah, the final part's the formality here. Order Titan going to be taken down at 21:36 in. A very, very impressive display here as Xzist will hold the victory 25-3 in the kill count. Doom unfortunately got shut out very early on in the game, it seemed.
Yeah, very unfortunate.
It's weird because we saw a lot of decent moments there from Doom here. They had some great combos. They completely ripped down a single target here, taking Hui out of the picture very quickly. But Captain Base, there just wasn't enough damage as it got towards the later stages of the game here. The XP advantage just became way too much here. And look at the level leads right here. Durgis is the lowest level on Xzist, and he's still higher than everybody except for Mr. Stefan on the side of Doom right there. And I think a lot has to do with just how far ahead Xzist got early on.
Yeah, a lot of it came down to those early kills. I mean, and it wasn't even like that the kills got put onto a single person. The first 4 kills of the game were one each to Guan Yu, Ymir, Thor, and Isis. So they were evenly splitting out that experience and that gold advantage across the team. Meanwhile, Captain Base just holding a dominant lead in lane over FX for a majority of it. So not really anything that they could have done. One of the things that I wish we saw during the Phoenix defense, it was something we saw 2 weeks ago, I believe, is Cabrakan's ultimate. You can frame it in a way that the wall will actually block directly in front of the Phoenix. So rather than catching a member of the other team, which is super risky considering that you're super item dependent for your defense, and obviously it wasn't really working out for him sitting at 0-5, is that you're just giving the Phoenix that extra breathing room while they try to aggress on it, that they have to fight like more within the boundary of where your Titan is to be able to damage it. And it's an
Opt to
uncommon
control the
strategy.
battlefield instead of try to control some person.
Yeah, but it's more spatial awareness, and it's sort of a risky thing to do because there's no guarantee still that you'd be able to win the team fight off of that extra Phoenix survival, but it would have been something that's nice to see.
It's buying time, which is fairly important when you're behind, which is what it seems like it's the big point of it there. Unfortunately, no such thing as enough time, it seems, as we will see Xzist taking their second victory of the group stages. And now we're moving over to Group B there. Merle, any final thoughts before going to Smiley Face's game?
Go to Smiley Face's game. It'd be interesting to see if they are able to run the murder ball strategy once again. I mean, we saw Rajan bend out this game, but it didn't really matter. Isis definitely being the tour de force here, in addition to Thor, just walking through everybody in the early and mid stages of the game, and then just carrying through with the ultimate abilities to really just.
I think they'll definitely have some other strategies available for them this time around, because you don't get this far without having several plans ready to go, though.
Yeah, definitely playing pretty much not necessarily all your cards early, but when you feel you have a strong matchup that you really just want to win, guarantee those wins. This is the round robin stage, so every single match here matters. Win or loss can make
especially this early into it.
Especially this early. So it'll be interesting to see how Smiley Face handles themselves going into game 2.
All right, we'll find out soon enough if the Smiley Face game is ready for us to go. Don't go anywhere. This is the Challengers Cup Week 5. There's still 3 games left to go, so we'll be right back.